Welcome to Straight Talk with your host, Patti Foster.
Talk to me about Dachau.
I was not in Dachau itself. I was in an outskirt from Dachau in a camp number 7, by 50 miles away from Dachau. But the main office was Dachau. I was connected with Dachau. And from Dachau, all the orders came from there. Whatever came from there. And that camp was called camp number 7. And we had different kind of camps all over Dachau. It's like how would I say here, we have, in the United States, we have the main office in some place and then things are on outskirts. The same thing was there too. And I was in camp number 7. Camp number 7 was quarantined for typhoid. We were brought up there to go work in a munition factory, but we never made it to the munition factory because the camp got quarantined for typhoid. And lots of people had died. More women, no. No woman had died. Only men. The men had died like flies. They were very undernourished, very mistreated. For us women, it was a little bit better. Once you were in American and German territory, life became better for the women. They treated us a little better than we were in Auschwitz. Auschwitz was Poland. It was not under German territory. Under German territory, it was a different way of treating women. Because over there in Poland, we were more on the destroying area. They destroyed everybody. They killed everybody. They didn't take any count for nothing. We were just loose. We were loose cannon. And once you got to Poland, to German territory, it was already different. It is very little that you can remember about Dachau, except I was quarantined and I did that kind of work. And then, not long after that, we were liberated by the Fourth Army.
So, about how long were you at Dachau?
I was in Dachau from September till May. September 1944 till May 45. I was liberated by the American soldiers.
When you were in Auschwitz, when did you find out your parents?
My parents were killed the minute we arrived in Auschwitz.
When did you find out?
I almost felt it when I tried to open that door. When I got to the front of that door, I couldn't get in. It locked itself. I finally realized, because nobody said nothing to me, but everybody, when the door closed, everybody remained silent. And the older people started mumbling. And everybody looked shocked. And I was trying to get to the door. I was not aware what is going on. But everything, even the Germans, remained numb for a second there. And that kind of gave me that something very bad has happened. But I could not put it in words or say anything to anybody, but in my own self, I felt something like a cold chill went all over me. And that's when my parents were killed too, right there. And then a couple of days later, they said they were gassed. And I realized I never put up an argument against it. I almost had the feeling that I was outside the door when they were killed. I was at that door. And I was saved by somebody, not by Mengele. I was saved by somebody else. Because Mengele came after that and beat the hell out of me. Because I was not saved by him. I was saved by somebody else. I don't know who saved me, but my chances were more to survive. There was a reason, and I believe somebody will see the reason that I survived. It was a hard struggle because I was not prepared in any way, mentally, physically, educationally, or anything else. I was not prepared for what I had to live through and do things. But for some reason, I was one instrument to come out of there.
And I want you to talk with me about Mengele.
Mengele was known as the angel of death. That's what he is known. If you go in the library, you look for him, you're going to find him. He was angel of death. He was a ruthless human being. The very few people had hooked horns with him, and they are saying, I can still talk to you. I don't think there are too many alive that he let live. But all he had to do is point at the person, and he was dead in 30 minutes later. Oh, wow. And he was a very unusual. He was a doctor by trade. But why he was so ruthless is beyond human imagination. And he liked to experiment on people. He experimented a lot on children mainly, on twins. But that's who he was. He was a very ruthless human being.
Did he have you working in a hospital or something in particular?
He didn't have a hospital, no. He just had it all spread around, and he just did what he wanted to do. A human being to him was nothing. He wiped them out the second. And he's the one who was in Auschwitz, the main doctor, and he did what he wanted to do. A lot of brutality was taking place through him. He used to take twins, he used to take whoever he took, they never came back alive.
Were you around him very often then?
No, I never worked with him. The only time I came in contact with him is when he beat me up and left me for dead. And I got up after he left me and picked myself up. My head was split open, but it didn't matter. I picked myself up and healed myself, but no doctor or anything else. Or somebody else up there took care of me. But I saw him coming and going on and off.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did, because I happened to work in the kitchen. And by working in the kitchen, I was able to see people that came in and out. And what he did, he used to select people. He used to take them wherever he wanted, you know. His finger selected the people. And then, it was it's a very unpleasant situation. And you cannot size it up for anything more than its brutality. I was so young, and I had myself, I believe that a doctor said it later in the United States, I already came to the United States, that I had a mental block. And I broke it, because I guess I wanted to live. And I finally broke, and that had helped me not to realize as much as I saw through my mental block. I broke my mental block. I believe I was married by 20 years with my husband, and I broke it. And it was a very unusual situation, but I was in therapy, and I needed a lot of therapy. The Jewish Family Service here in Dallas has provided me with a lot of therapy. And that had helped me come and become more of the woman I am today.
What is something you would really like the listeners to learn from you?
I do not have any answers for that. What the listeners should learn from me. Everybody is going to listen, and everybody's going to learn different. There's not for one recipe here. It's a recipe for people their own ears. And they have to decide on their own. Because I had to decide myself. As little as education as I had. And I have always missed it, but I knew I couldn't learn early when my head was split wide open and I suddenly realized the words are disappearing from my eyes. And so then I knew my education is out the door. And I had to learn and survive. And I was very fortunate. I married a very educated man. And I always was able to entertain educated people. Don't ask me why. I do not know. Even today, I have lunch once a week with somebody. I get a free lunch I am a member, and we go there, and every Thursday we have a free lunch. And I have lunch with this man for the last 2 years. He is an international teacher, and he plays the piano there. And he always sits with me and has lunch with me. And we have nothing in common. We say hello. We are happy to see each other. We sit and talk with each other. See you next week. That's all we have in common. And we talk, and still a very educated human being. And I know that the man is educated. And I don't know why he enjoys sitting next to me. It's very difficult to explain it, but we always sit together, and he comes, the first thing he does, he puts his package right next to mine, and we sit at the same chair, the same 2 chairs. I sit on one, he sits on the other one, and we don't have nothing in common with each other. We don't go to their homes, we don't see each other, but we do have conversation together. That's very unusual, but he's a well-educated man, and he enjoys having me as company. Why, I don't know. People laugh at us too already, because we see each other constantly. And the chair is already reserved. People that sit with me at the table, they know not to touch that chair, because that's where he's going to sit. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Straight Talk with your host, Patti Foster. Patti is a motivational speaker, writer, musician, and has an amazing testimony of God's faithfulness. For more information, log on to www.pattifoster.com.